Have you ever noticed that the artist who takes the crown in a massive music competition often ends up fighting the hardest battle for long-term career survival? When the broadcast concluded in 2025, the entertainment industry and millions of viewers operated under the assumption that the ultimate victor had effectively secured a permanent place in the mainstream music hierarchy. Roberts was awarded the top prize, the recording contract, and the immediate promotional push that accompanies such a highly publicized victory. Conversely, John Foster, having finished as the runner-up, was widely expected to gradually fade from the public consciousness to the traditional trajectory of reality television participants. However, as our investigative report examines the current music landscape in 2026, we are a fascinating paradigm shift that challenges conventional industry metrics. The finale was not a definitive conclusion, but rather the catalyst for a massive, real-world experiment contrasting two fundamentally different business models. We are witnessing a clear divergence between the corporate-engineered acceleration of a major label priority artist and the deliberate, organic cultivation of an independent musician. By analyzing touring data, audience retention metrics, and brand development strategies over the past year, it becomes increasingly evident that the immediate visibility provided by a television network does not automatically translate to sustainable artistic freedom. This report will explore how the traditional definition of success is being aggressively, suggesting that the highly coveted first-place position might inherently carry hidden professional limitations that the general public rarely sees or understands. There is a complex, high-stakes financial apparatus operating behind every manufactured pop star, and the reigning champion is currently functioning as its primary asset. The post-competition trajectory for Roberts has been characterized by aggressive market saturation, a strategy deeply familiar to major recording labels attempting to quickly capitalize on television exposure. Roberts was immediately integrated into a rapid-fire promotional cycle, encompassing high-profile media appearances, accelerated studio sessions, and the rigorous demands of maintaining a flawless public persona. Industry analysts refer to this as the high-speed rollout, a capital-intensive process designed to generate immediate returns on the network's investment. However, our investigation into the modern corporate music structure reveals that this level of backing frequently necessitates significant compromises regarding artistic autonomy. Artists in this position are often bound by comprehensive agreements that grant executives final approval over musical direction, brand partnerships, and even public statements. The pressure to consistently deliver chart-topping singles and viral social media moments creates an incredibly volatile professional environment. While Roberts is undoubtedly experiencing immense commercial visibility, insiders suggest he is operating within a highly restrictive corporate framework. The expectations are astronomical, and the margin for error is virtually non-existent. If a single release fails to meet algorithmic projections, the entire promotional apparatus can be quickly redirected. This reality paints a stark contrast to the glamorous imagery presented to the public, highlighting the intense, behind-the-scenes pressure cooker that defines the daily existence of a heavily invested, label-backed performer in 2026. While the mainstream media heavily documented the winner's corporate ascent, the runner-up quietly executed one of the most calculated strategic retreats in recent music history. Following the finale, the prevailing assumption was that John Foster would attempt to capitalize on his temporary television fame by releasing accessible, mainstream-friendly singles. Instead, our reporting indicates that Foster deliberately rejected the standard post-competition playbook. Rather than engaging in the highly competitive pursuit of top 40 radio play, he executed a significant professional pivot, fully embracing a traditionalist aesthetic. This decision to prioritize sonic authenticity over immediate commercial viability represents a substantial risk within the current music economy. By refusing to adapt his creative output to align with fleeting digital trends or algorithmic demands, Foster effectively removed himself from the traditional label ecosystem. However, market data from late 2025 and early 2026 demonstrates that this localized, highly targeted approach has yielded exceptional dividends in audience loyalty. Foster spent the subsequent months carefully cultivating a dedicated grassroots following, consumers who prioritize substantive artistic expression over manufactured viral moments. This demographic is statistically proven to engage in higher rates of merchandise purchasing and physical media consumption. By strategically positioning himself as an authentic alternative to heavily produced pop acts, Foster transformed his runner-up status from a perceived failure into a vital component of his brand identity. He is not competing in the same saturated market as his former rival. Instead, he has successfully established a parallel economy where his creative independence serves as his primary marketing asset. What happens to a television star's career when they bypass the domestic gatekeepers entirely and quietly construct a highly lucrative international touring network? The most compelling evidence of John Foster's diverging path emerged when our team analyzed international live performance metrics over the past 2 quarters. While the conventional promotional route dictates a grueling domestic radio tour, Foster focused his resources on establishing a robust presence in overseas markets. Venues across Europe, particularly those with a strong historical appreciation for organic, live instrumentation, became the foundation of his independent enterprise. This strategy, often referred to by industry veterans as the international slow grind, prioritizes physical attendance and direct audience interaction over easily manipulated digital streaming numbers. By consistent bookings outside the purview of traditional network media coverage, Foster has effectively insulated his revenue streams from domestic market volatility. Our financial analysis indicates that an independent artist executing successful mid-tier international tour can often secure a higher net profit margin than a major label artist navigating complex recoupment structures. The audiences attending these international dates are completely unconcerned with the results of an American television broadcast. They are strictly invested in the musical product. This strategic has allowed Foster to construct a self-sustaining business model that operates entirely independent of the corporate approval process. He has transformed a localized television appearance into a scalable global business, proving that enduring success in the modern era relies heavily on the ability to cultivate direct, unmediated relationships with paying concert-goers. Industry analysts are increasingly asking a provocative question: does signing a massive recording contract inherently require an artist to surrender control of their own professional identity? To fully understand the divergent realities of Roberts and John Foster, we must examine the underlying economics of their respective business models. Roberts is currently operating within a highly structured corporate apparatus where his output is heavily subsidized, but his ownership is severely limited. Major labels function as investment banks for musicians, providing massive upfront capital in exchange for substantial control over master recordings, publishing rights, and ancillary revenue streams. This ensures maximum visibility, but mathematically limits the artist's long-term financial independence. Furthermore, the creative direction is subject to committee approval, meaning an artist cannot easily pivot their sound if a project underperforms. Conversely, Foster's independent trajectory requires him to assume all upfront financial risks, but guarantees absolute ownership of his intellectual property. He retains total authority over his touring schedule, merchandise design, and most importantly, his musical. As we progress through 2026, consumer analysts are noting a growing public toward heavily engineered celebrity narratives. Audiences are increasingly demonstrating a preference for artists who maintain clear, unobstructed agency over their careers. Foster's ability to release music at his own discretion, without navigating corporate bureaucracy, grants him an agility that label-bound artists fundamentally lack. The contrast between these two paths highlights a critical evolution in the entertainment sector. The realization that the ultimate currency for a modern musician is no longer widespread, superficial fame, but rather the retention of total operational control. As we review the data 1 year later, we are forced to reconsider everything the entertainment industry has taught us about the true definition of winning. The comprehensive analysis of the careers of Roberts and John Foster provides a definitive case study on the changing mechanics of modern celebrity. The traditional narrative surrounding music competitions asserts that the individual who secures the highest number of votes is the undisputed champion, destined for unparalleled professional achievements. However, the empirical evidence from 2026 suggests a far more complicated reality. We are observing the limitations of the fast-track celebrity model, where artists are expected to sustain maximum output under immense corporate scrutiny. Simultaneously, we are witnessing the undeniable effectiveness of the independent slow build, an approach that prioritizes long-term foundational growth over immediate, explosive visibility. The industry will undoubtedly continue to manufacture stars through highly publicized television events, as it remains a highly profitable short-term strategy for broadcasting networks. Yet, as Foster continues to expand his autonomous touring empire and Roberts navigates the complexities of label expectations, the distinction between being an industry product and an independent enterprise becomes glaringly apparent. The objective data clearly indicates that the structural advantages often belong to the artist who operates outside the conventional spotlight. For those monitoring the future of the music business, this ongoing scenario serves as a vital indicator. It fundamentally challenges the public to look beyond the celebratory confetti and recognize that the most significant, enduring victories often occur quietly, years after the television cameras have stopped rolling.